Clearances said out of precaution, Marines are on the ready to go to Egypt to protect the U.S. Embassy and citizens. What more do we know at this point in terms of preparation for what might happen on Sunday?
I mean, I don't want to be sure.
Well, we know that 2 people have been confirmed dead and 1 possible dead in Alexandria. An American citizen is one of those confirmed dead. We don't have a name yet. There are rumors that it's a teacher who was filming some of the protests in Alexandria and that he was stabbed to death. But as yet, there are there's no confirmation about who this individual is. Today, there were huge protests throughout Egypt, really. There was hundreds of thousands of pro-Morsi Islamists turned up outside a mosque in a suburb of Cairo, and they're staging a 3-day sit-in. You've got anti-government supporters already in Tahrir Square and outside the presidential palace. But the big protests will be on Sunday. These protests have been building up for some months now. It's to mark Morsi's first anniversary in power. And the opposition really do feel it's their best and last chance to get rid of the president.
Let me just show you some other video, too. We've heard in the last few hours that things are getting pretty violent. And this is from state TV El Badil, which purports to show one of Friday's clashes in Alexandria. And the video reportedly shows them firing on pro-Morsi Islamist demonstrators. The Washington Post foreign affairs blogger Max Fisher said that he can't confirm that in his post. Lucy, what are you hearing on the ground there in terms of who's to blame, who starts the violence? Because, of course, both sides here always claim that they are nonviolent in their demonstrations first.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to know, really. We know that in Alexandria, the Muslim Brotherhood headquarters was torched. We know that a number of Muslim Brotherhood members have been killed this week. And at the pro-Morsi rally earlier today, it was very peaceful. There are no reports of clashes or even minor skirmishes. The same is true of the anti-government supporters in Tahrir. But it really is hard to tell at this stage. These things erupt so quickly, with both sides blaming each other. But Muslim Brotherhood offices have been attacked across Egypt.
So, Hani, what do you think that we can expect for June 30th and then going forward? If nobody ever wants to use the term, civil.
Actually, last week, members of the Muslim Brotherhood, as well as their allies in all the Islamist groups that are supporting them, have vowed that they are willing to defend President Morsi with blood and will take down anyone who opposes them. And that has been documented in all media as a valid threat to all the protesters in June 30th. And they actually have been throughout the past year starting they have triggered the real violence. Over 80 people have been killed by Muslim Brotherhood elements throughout mostly peaceful protests taking place in Tahrir or nearby Ittihadiyya, and they actually started that violence officially on last December 5th nearby the presidential palace, where around over 200,000 people have gathered there to demand that Morsi would step down and call for a new election. This has been going on for the past 6 months at least, and before that even they have been involved in these kind of matters. So if there are certain retaliations now from regular people, it's not meant that they want they are after their blood. In fact, they are very likely to be defending themselves. Aside from that fact, over throughout the country today, news have been reported that a lot of weapons have been seized by Muslim Brotherhood elements. At least around 20 has been arrested carrying illegal guns and trying to smuggle them to areas where the protests are taking place. As for the June 30th, the likeness that this would be the beginning of the end of the Muslim Brotherhood, not just the rule of Mr. Morsi's in Egypt, but the beginning of the end of the Muslim Brotherhood or the Islamist rule in Egypt as an entity, as a whole. The likeness that it will depend on how violent they will respond to the June 30th, whether they will be banned forever like the Nazi party in Germany post World War, or they will be continue to be a part of the political life but in a small sector or a small fraction, because after you know, the certain statistics and the polls have shown that only 25% of eligible voter in Egypt would be voting for Morsi now, in comparison to more than 50% in past year.
And of course, the complication
that's
that
just in 1 year. Aside from that, the Islamists would have been dealt a big blow in their dominion, their halo that they have enjoyed for as people of God, or that sort of thing, or having the key to heaven, or having the magical solutions for Egypt's problem, is no longer there.